I'm 71 years old today. I wish I could tell you this is a celebration, that there's cake or candles or someone calling to sing to me. But there isn't. I'm sitting in a rented room that cost me $15 a night. No husband, no children, no home that belongs to me, no car parked outside, not even a dog to keep me company. Just me and a silence so thick it presses on my chest some mornings. I worked for 47 years as a secretary. I typed letters on machines that didn't exist 10 years later. I filed papers that no one ever looked at again.
I answered phones, scheduled meetings, stayed late when everyone else went home. People said I was good at it, dependable, the kind of woman you could count on. And I believed them. I believed that showing up every day, being useful, doing my job well, that all of it mattered, that it meant something, that it would add up to a life worth living. It didn't. When I started that job, I was 23. I had just moved to the city. I didn't know anyone. The work gave me structure, a reason to get up, a place to go. It felt like I was building something, even if I couldn't name what it was. I told myself I'd make friends later, meet someone later, travel later, live later. But the job was always there, always demanding more. One more report, one more late night, one more emergency that couldn't wait. And I gave it everything. I gave it my 20s, when I should have been reckless and foolish and in love. I gave it my 30s, when my body was still strong and my mind still sharp. I gave it my 40s, when I could have built something real, a family, a home, a life that belonged to me. I kept thinking there would be time. There wasn't. I remember the small moments I missed. My sister's wedding, because I had a deadline. A trip to the coast with coworkers, because I couldn't afford to take the days off. A man who asked me to dinner 3 times before he stopped asking. His name was Robert. He worked in accounting 2 floors down. He had kind eyes and always remembered how I took my coffee. Black, no sugar. He'd bring me a cup sometimes on busy mornings. The first time he asked me out, I said I was too busy with a project. The second time, I told him I had plans that weekend. I didn't. I just didn't know how to say yes. The third time, he smiled. But it didn't reach his eyes anymore. He said it was okay, that he understood. He stopped bringing me coffee after that. 6 months later, I heard he'd gotten engaged to someone from another department. I felt something twist in my chest that day, but I pushed it down. I had work to do. I told myself I was being responsible, focused, that I was doing the right thing. But what I was really doing was hiding. The job was easier than risking rejection, easier than being vulnerable, easier than admitting I was lonely and scared and didn't know how to build a life outside of work. So I didn't build one. My routine became my life. Wake up at 6, coffee and toast. Catch the bus at 7:15. At my desk by 8. Work until 5, sometimes 6, sometimes later. Home by 7. Microwave dinner, television, sleep, repeat. Weekends were for laundry and groceries and catching up on work I brought home. I told myself this was temporary, that once I got the promotion, things would change. Once I saved enough money, I'd take that trip. Once things settled down at work, I'd focus on myself. But things never settled down. There was always another promotion to chase, another deadline, another reason to wait. I came home to empty apartments for decades. I ate dinner alone. I watched television shows I didn't care about just to hear voices. I convinced myself I was fine. The apartment I rented for 18 years, I never hung anything on the walls. Not really. A calendar from the office. A clock. That was it. I told myself I'd decorate it properly someday. Make it feel like home. I never did. Because deep down, I think I knew it wasn't a home. It was just a place I slept between shifts. And then I turned 55. Then 60. Then 65. My back started hurting from all those years hunched over a desk. My eyes got worse. I needed reading glasses, then stronger ones. My hands would cramp from typing. Small things at first, easy to ignore. But they added up. And one day, on a Tuesday afternoon in March, my supervisor called me into her office. She was younger than me. Everyone was younger than me by then. She told me the company was downsizing, restructuring. They were letting go of several long-term employees to cut costs. I was one of them. She thanked me for my years of service, 47 years compressed into a 2-minute conversation and a handshake. They gave me a card signed by people I barely knew, a severance check that didn't even cover 2 months' rent. Just like that, it was over. The thing I had given my entire life to, it didn't need me anymore. It never really had. I thought retirement would feel like freedom. It doesn't. It feels like falling. I don't have savings, not real savings. I have a small Social Security check that barely covers my rent and food. I don't have family to lean on. My sister passed away 6 years ago. We hadn't spoken in over a decade. Too many missed calls. Too many promises to visit that I never kept. She lived 3 hours away. 3 hours. I could have driven there on a Saturday, spent the day, come back Sunday, but I never did. Work was always the excuse. I had things to finish, projects to complete. I couldn't just take off, except I could have. I just didn't. The last time I saw her was at our mother's funeral 15 years ago. We stood next to each other at the service, but we barely spoke. Too much time had passed. Too many missed birthdays, holidays, phone calls. She sent me a Christmas card every year. I meant to send one back. I never did. When she got sick, a neighbor called to tell me, lung cancer, stage 4. I drove out to see her in the hospital. She was so small in that bed, so fragile. We talked for a little while, polite conversation, careful words, like strangers trying to be kind. I wanted to apologize, to explain, to tell her I was sorry for all the years I'd wasted, but I didn't know how to start, so I just held her hand, and she let me. She died 3 days later. I was the only family at her funeral, just me and a few neighbors who'd known her better in 6 months than I had in 60 years. That's when it hit me, really hit me. I had spent my whole life preparing for a future that never came, and now I was alone. I live in a building with other people like me now, older, alone, forgotten. We nod to each other in the hallways, but we don't speak. I think we're all afraid of what we'd see in each other's faces. My room is small, a bed, a chair, a table, a hot plate. A bathroom down the hall that I share with 3 other people. The walls are thin. I can hear everything, coughing, television, arguments. I eat cheap meals, ramen, canned soup, white bread, and peanut butter. Sometimes the church down the street has a free dinner on Thursdays. I go when I can. I walk to the library because it's warm and free. I sit there for hours just to be around people. I don't talk to anyone, but it's better than sitting in my room. I watch the world move around me, young people laughing, couples holding hands, parents chasing their children, and I feel like a ghost. I'm still here, but I'm not really part of anything anymore. The hardest part is the silence. No one calls. No one texts. No one wonders where I am or how I'm doing. I could disappear tomorrow, and it would take weeks for anyone to notice. I had a health scare last year. Chest pains. I thought I was having a heart attack. I took the bus to the emergency room because I didn't have anyone to call. I sat in that waiting room for 4 hours, alone, watching families comfort each other, watching husbands hold their wives' hands, watching children bring their parents water. I had no one. The doctor said it was anxiety, stress. He asked if I had family or friends who could check on me. I lied and said yes. He didn't believe me. I could see it in his face. That's what a life like mine becomes. A room, a routine, and eventually nothing. I know what you're thinking, that I'm being dramatic, that it's not too late, that I can still do something, still meet people, still change, but you don't understand. I'm 71. My body hurts in ways it didn't 5 years ago. My knees ache when I walk. My energy is gone by noon. My memory slips more than I'd like to admit. I forget names, dates, conversations I had yesterday. I don't have the strength to start over. I don't have the money to go anywhere or do anything meaningful. I'm just waiting now. Waiting for what? I'm not sure. Maybe for it to be over. Maybe for something to change, even though I know it won't. And that's the truth I need you to hear. If you're young, if you still have time, please don't do what I did. Don't let your job become your entire identity. Don't tell yourself you'll live later. Don't sacrifice the people you love for a paycheck. That will forget you the moment you're gone. Make time for the things that matter. Not someday, now. Take the trip, even if it's small, even if it's just a weekend. Say yes when someone asks you out. Call your family, even when it's inconvenient. Build friendships. Show up for people. Let them show up for you. Go to the wedding. Take the day off. Answer the phone when your sister calls. Because one day you're going to be my age, and you're going to look back, and you're going to ask yourself what it was all for. If the only answer you have is a job that replaced you without a second thought, you're going to feel exactly how I feel right now. Empty, hollow, like you watched your own life pass by from a distance. I don't tell you this for pity. I'm past that. I made my choices, and I have to live with them, but you still have choices. And I'm begging you, don't waste them the way I did. Don't wait until you're 71 to realize that all those extra hours at work, all those missed moments, all those chances you didn't take, they didn't build anything lasting. They just built loneliness. I turned 71 today. I spent it alone in a $15 room, thinking about Robert and his kind eyes, thinking about my sister's Christmas cards, thinking about all the life I could have lived. And I wouldn't wish this on anyone.